Hello, this is Sarah Sachs on the Medium on the Go channel, another edition of Tarot for Our Times, and this is going to be the Trump and OJ factor, with Trump as the Emperor in reverse and OJ as the Knight of Swords in reverse. So, before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Yes, before I start to do a reading, just a little bit of what we're going to be getting into is that with the death of OJ, very recently, it's once again brought up the arguments that people had as to whether he was guilty of killing Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. And actually, on social media, it was almost like, wow, what if we had had Facebook in 1994, 1995, and we got a little bit of a taste of it because people still feel really strongly about it, and that came in the conversation as to how he was found not guilty because of reasonable doubt. The jurors later said they didn't necessarily think he was innocent, but that the prosecution hadn't proven their case. So, but then karma had a funny way of getting him through the years, such as he became a social pariah. He never actually got in with the same crowd that he had been with. He lost a big lawsuit, although I don't think the Goldmans and the Browns got anything, much of any, if anything at all. And he later got convicted in Las Vegas and spent some years in the joint. And I think he probably died fairly lonely. So it's really interesting that on the heels of that, Trump has finally gone to trial, and the trial has, we didn't think we were going to be at jury selection, opening remarks, and in the midst of, the first witness testifying in a week and a half. It's really amazing. So I have to say that I'm not going to predict whether they're going to find him guilty or not. I would say the evidence is pretty compelling, but at the same time, what we learned in the OJ case is you never know what jurors are going to do. And I'm going on the premise, as far as the public knows, how the public, or the voters, I should say, the voters feel, is that it may not make any difference in that respect. Justice-wise, I think it would make a big difference, but as far as the voters go, it could, because we do have a very big taste for salaciousness that's coming up, and in the Emperor Reversed, I interpret it as the Emperor has no clothes. He's lost his power. People have seen the worst of him, but they're not quite ready to speak up on that. But I'm going to be doing a reading about how all of this, with the sleeping and the farting and the this and that in the courtroom, that it's things like that, those little cuts that lead up to a decision that people will make in November, like, oh, I guess he isn't such a big guy, big powerful guy after all. So I'm going to do a reading on him, saying supposing he were to either be found not guilty, and I think it would be the same as OJ. It would be that they didn't prove their case, But I think we've got a really good prosecutor. I think the prosecutor team is better here than it was in the OJ thing. And it's kind of like that difference between the OJ was so LA and this is so New York. So, at any rate, there are things that we will be learning for the first time and I think it could add up. And as I say, I've got this superstitious thing about predicting the exact outcomes of elections. I do trends, but I don't do specific candidates. It's just something. But I think that he probably isn't going to be gaining any new voters from this, to say the least. So the first reading I want to do is if he is found not guilty or a hung jury, will karma get him like it did OJ? And that if there's not any jurisprudence justice, will there be poetic and karmatic justice? So I will do this, okay, and I have given the cards a bit of a shuffle, but I want to do it a little bit, okay. If he's found not guilty or hung jury, will karma get at him like it did OJ? Okay, so putting that energy into the card. So, let's see where we are at. Oh, okay. This is very interesting. The Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I almost made this one of the theme cards of this reading because we are going into it's the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and when it's upright, it's about the family working, cooperation and all of that. When it is in reverse, it's the corrupt family and possibly the loss of the fortune because becoming corrupt. So we've seen this in the civil case already, but I think the more of this could be coming out, and that there could be an impact. So let's see, we're going to cross this with the energy of the moon. So a lot of secrets, a lot of dark stuff is really going to be coming out about this. The secrets to be revealed. Okay, so let's see, the underlying thing of all of this is... Okay, this is... God, these cards are practically reading themselves. Okay, so first we have the Seven of Cups in reverse. So it's like I was saying before, like all of that illusion and the smoke screen that he threw up about what this strong, powerful tycoon of a businessman that he was, and the largeness of his size. Apparently they've been saying his size is even smaller, that he has not been presenting and of course with the sleeping and everything, he's not been presenting himself strong physically. Then we have the Sixth of this is so funny, Six of Swords in reverse. And this is so funny because a lot of times it means storms and floods. So I'm going to say this could be the stormy card. The storm that there's going to, now that this all the veil of illusions is being stripped away. Now this is the stormy card, and she may be the more powerful of the witnesses, and that this will be this will be a setback with the Tower in reverse. It won't upset the whole apple cart, but it will be. It will not be good for the defense team. And what it warns is, like, if you continue in the same way, there will be more towers, there will be more disasters. So it's sort of called, well, you better learn your lesson, that kind of a thing. So then we have in the past here. Holy cow, I can't believe these cards amaze me. The Ace of Swords in reverse, which is about the lies. The lies, when it's upright, it's about, aha, the truth, but it's about the lies that have built up, and right over here with the that will be exposed. It's about so many illusions that I think that in a more kind of esoteric sense, that this is going to be about the illusions that are going to be dispelled. I don't think it's going to change the hearts and minds of the hardcore magas, but okay, so then we have the Knight of Wands, which is all about, he's kind of the reckless knight. He's got a fairly short fuse and kind of goes off on a tangent without thinking, and he's immature, so I'm going to say that could be our defendant, and possibly what he could be doing in court, or what he has been doing in court to upset the judge, and I would say possibly the jury. So this could be a big setup for his karma in the future. I'm going to say that these cards here, which is the warning, are the women in the lawsuit cases, so centered around women. The rape lawsuit, and Letitia James, and so many of the women that they have been, every case they've had so far, they have been had reason to celebrate. And even down in Georgia, they didn't find anything that she did was going to compromise. So it's Letitia James, Fannie Willis. It's kind of like they've all had cause to celebrate. So I would say not only are these in the past, but it's kind of like what they're not paying attention to. And I have to say that this could be a very important parallel as far as what's being covered in the news and what isn't being covered, and what could leave them with egg on their faces once again, about that they haven't learned the power of women from the past winning these lawsuits, the abortion rights elections. Okay, so then, here, this is perfect. So this is the martyrdom. He has been running on martyrdom, and poor me, poor me, poor me. This whole thing, and he's done it in the past, and I would say that the message of the Tower in reverse, in looking at these, they say you cannot do these things anymore. You can't be lying. You can't go off half-cocked. Do not underestimate the power of this massive female energy that is out there right now. And also the pity party thing, it's not bringing in the money. So the possibilities for the future, I'm going to use this other deck. Okay, we've got the King of Pentacles upright, and I would say I don't feel like this. A lot of readers have been using this for Trump, but because they don't read reverse. I have the King of Pentacles in reverse for him, but this one is upright. So there's something about somebody that is holding the purse strings, and see, he's holding on to that. So he is holding there's someone holding the purse strings. Okay, now that I look at this, I'm going to say that there's some of those billionaires and the people like that, as this goes on, they may be thinking twice about it. They're very kind of unpredictable. They were against him, and then they want more tax breaks, so then they're donating again, doing this and that. I'm going to say this is precarious. This guy here, you can see he's really thinking. So there we have the Nine of Rods here, which is about how many more wounds and losses can he take? How many more can he take? That he's had to come back as he may be in the hole for hundreds and millions of dollars. The way that he used to bounce back in his civilian years, I want to say, with lawsuits that he managed to, what he has been doing back then, it's only worked to a limit. It's starting to not limit, so he may not have too many more recoveries left. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So what that's telling me is that something that we may not be hearing about, which is this is getting now. This is future possibilities, but this is getting into the karma with the luxurious life of the Nine of Pentacles that he lived. May not, like OJ, it may not continue because there are certain things that are going to be taken away from him, and he won't be able to buy the finer things, or what he considers the finer things, buy gold toilets and all that sort of thing that may have to go. And the thing is that he built such a trap for himself in the importance of all of this, and that his whole reason for being and his masculinity is so. This is talking about, with that decline could come another decline. So then we have the Page of Rods upright. The pages tend to be messengers, and I would say that with it rods and with the fire is that I'm seeing him as being very, very much warned that his outbursts will have consequences. And this could be in the very near future. So let's see what else we have coming here. The Five of Swords. So he's going to be sticking to what he believes is or his truth, but you can see in the background that that he stands alone and people are deserting him. So I'm going to say part of it could be like, I call them the mealy mouth supporters, like the ones that haven't been paying attention and we just want our tax break and this and that, but it's not the MAGA people, but it's sort of like those other people. I'm a Republican and though that gang may be starting to drift off. So this is a very solitary figure. He's holding on to the soga. It's interesting. This is upright, but the swords are one is upright and there's some in reverse, and that's telling me that he still thinks that his lies are truth. So even if he were to win, we're talking about bankrupt, losing of friends, and I have to say that behind all of the destruction and him wanting to be a dictator is going back to the 80s and the 90s when he really was kind of laughed at and not taken seriously socially or even business-wise by the elite and the intelligentsia of rich liberal New York. So I've had a psychic hit that all of this, since going down that escalator 9 years, it's like all about kind of getting back at them and going to the dark side. So I want to see what kind of conclusions, what kind of karma and conclusions are going to come. Oh boy. Can't make this stuff up. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And this is like karma is going to hit him. Win or lose this case, karma is going to hit him in a big way. It could even be win or lose the election. Karma is going to hit him in the big way if he, in fact, for entertainment purposes, even makes it to the election. Karma is going to be so bad that I believe that he's probably going to be very sorry that he even ran, that he even entered into this world. So I'm going to see what the energy crossing is. Wow, Three of Swords in reverse, Three of Rods in reverse, which is the loss of the business and opportunities, and any kind of future dealings he could have had, which he probably would have gotten away with if he had never entered the public political life. So I'm going to say loss of fortune, loss of any kind of people. I suspect there's even, he's lost his daughter, for sure. He's lost his daughter. The sons are kind of hanging by a thread, but they're such idiots anyway. That already, karma may be starting to play. I mean, who doesn't have their family? Who doesn't have their family at a trial? They say even Jeffrey Dahmer, every gangster, mafiosa gangster had the loyal wife and all this sort of thing. And this just is not. This is not happening for him. So, in general, this is kind of if he so-called wins on this trial, he still will lose in the future. And I'm going to see a very parallel thing to OJ. Now, whether he gets incarcerated in future trials, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And in fact, I read an article quickly that the Secret Service is already talking to, I guess, the Department of Corrections is how they're going to deal with him being incarcerated. So that is not even out of the realm of possibility. So, and as I've said before, I'm not so sure that all those, I think at least one of those trials is going to move forward, and I would soon I know everybody, reader on the internet, has done this, but I think I am going to soon do a reading on Judge Cannon because she's been kind of ignored because of all of this. So I want to do a quick read. If the public would react in a similar way to, assuming that he were to be acquitted or hung jury, although I think Bragg would round up a new jury and say, we're going again real soon. You guys are all prepared while we're all fresh. But in the event, or just in general, someone on MSNBC said, they asked if the voting public was going to get tired or weary of these. I don't think so. Not with if you remember, I wasn't the only one that was glued to the OJ trial back in the day. I worked strange shifts, so I could actually sometimes be home in the day. I was living on the West Coast, so I was on their time. That I could actually, I watched a great deal of that trial. So I think people love this sort of thing, and the more sensational it gets. I mean, we've got sex in this one, and then for the January 6th, we've got riots and excitement like, some kind of horrible movie. Then, and the documents things, we've got spies. So this is the stuff that the American, if not the Western world, really gobbles this stuff up. So I think that people will be kind of, as far as things go, they will really be just say, ooh, I want more and more of that. Because this is going to be like all this, and we do love gossip. So I really think that as we learn stuff that we didn't know before, and I think the whole thing that it could come down to is people realizing we had a National Enquirer president, not a New York Times or Washington Post, but a tab president. this is just going down to the lowest common denominator. So right now I'm going to say, what about the voting public? What are they and I'm not talking about extremists, but I'm just talking about how the regular public is perceiving this. So I didn't want this to be very long, so I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. So let's see here. We've got, okay, so we've got starting the Empress in reverse for this. And this is about, so the fertile, about, usually this is my Russia card, but I'm not kind of getting that in this thing. This is kind of like about fertility and abundance and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to say is that the public will start to see, as they get really kind of turned off even more by him, as saying like, well, maybe the economy wasn't so great with him and he really did mishandle the pandemic. So instead of saying don't want to vote for him because he doo-doos in his dides, or he's messing around with these Playboy models and whatever, they want to go to the little higher kind of thing and say, yeah, well, maybe it wasn't so, things were not so great. So this is kind of where the public could be heading right now, crossed with the energy of the swords in reverse, which is that's what I had for OJ, because I know I'm going to digress for just a second here, but I think it will. I picked the swords in reverse, the Knight of Swords in reverse for OJ, because this guy's out of control. I mean, when he's upright, he's kind of rash and needs to watch his word. When he's in reverse, he's out of control, and this is a blade. And I'm going to say with OJ and this horse galloping like crazy, you can take it quite literally as far as his wife and Ron Goldman go, that he literally just wielded that knife very, very harshly, to say the least. So as far as the energy around this, I'm going to say that in regards to this, as they see how out of control, and I know that, Trump didn't commit murder or anything like that, but it's kind of like that very similar energy, that he will get blood in his eyes, and as he's been sitting in a courtroom where he has no control, when he gets outside of it, he will be really, really, really out of control. So he'll be doing verbally kind of what OJ did, or physically. I mean, he was found liable in the civil case, so at any rate, so then this is what people are dealing with. This is the energy of total out of control sort of thing, which I think could really turn the public. And underlying this is in the past, the Knight of Cups bringing forth a very kind of romanticized image of the very successful tycoon and his TV show and this and that he was the lover with all these women, and don't you just want to be just like him? So that was in the past. So we have the Ten of Pentacles, and this is, we've had this guy in reverse already, but he's upright, which is about the prosperous cooperative family. I'm going to say, in this instance, I'm going to say that this is the prosecution team presenting a very, very good case. That they've got the money to do what they need to do in presenting the evidence, but I'm going to say that behind the scenes, they're taking advice from the sage old people that no longer go into court but offer wisdom, down to the law clerk, all of that. So I'm going to say that the prosecution is a well-oiled machine. And then we have the King of Cups. Wow, sometimes I'm totally amazed by this. The King of Cups in reverse is really talking about the mental and emotional decline of the defendant. And that it may become, with all of this building up, this is a bit in the future, it may be coming up a little bit sooner than we thought. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to say, okay, so I'm going to do a hope and fear. And this is pretty much about the hopes of the defendant, that with all the, with all the appeals and the motions and the this and that, they had piled up thinking that there's no way this was going to start anytime soon. They're looking and saying, well, it looks like the pile of the stuff that we did isn't working, so what now? And that and it's been exposed for the world to see. So it's kind of saying the world is very wise to this. So we have energy of the moon, and that in this way, that the regrets that they have about this is that the prosecution has been able to dig up some dirt and some dirty secrets about this. And this is all, this is the sun and the moon. And this is all happening in the eclipse season. And I know Mercury retrograde is supposed to be over tomorrow, but I think it'll cast a pretty long shadow. So a lot of the stuff that they thought was going to work out and then got desperate just to throw something against the wall, it just hasn't been. So where do they go from here? But the thing is, as all of this has been coming out, it has been a very negative view that the voting public has seen. So we go from the past to the this is the short fuse that the defendant has had. But I'm going to say that that they've been kind of able to calm him down, but who knows how much longer that will happen. That in the beginning, this is the cycle of they're out of motions and all of this stuff, and now it's time to move on. So now we have this, and as this has happened, all these elements of the zodiac and all that sort of thing, that people may be starting to be paying attention to this. As we move on, we look at, they say, the very, very foolish things, as this evidence comes out, the very foolish things that the decisions that he made and real chances that he took to keep information, to keep the voters informed. So then we have the Fool in reverse, and this could also go to his defense team may have not learned a lesson from all these stalling techniques, and they may do similar things, which is going to be a foolish move because the judge will be losing patience. I think the general public will be losing patience. So then we have what I'm seeing moving forward is that it's as I look at this, because the Supreme Court is looking at the immunity stuff, that there may be a quicker decision, that more things may really start to happen very quickly in other parts of his life. We're still waiting for the motion about his the gag order stuff. I think a lot of stuff are going to be, things will be happening at the same time. It's that's what I'm saying. It's quite possible that these other trials may start a little bit sooner. I think, and what this tells me too, in a psychic way, is that if this one has been starting to move along a lot quicker than predicted, who's to say that some of these other trials may not start in, like, I'm seeing July, August, that sort of thing, that they may not get them all in, but I think another one or two, that there could be some surprises. Things are really moving along, and that's telling me that people will be paying attention. They will be paying attention. And that what also this is telling me, the Ace of Wands in reverse is telling me, is that the spark and the passion may be going out of the campaign, because people are really surprised. They're weary of the pity party, as that we saw in the last spread. So it's kind of like he doesn't have anything new to say, and so I'm seeing that people may be getting weary of that and start saying, "Ooh, these trials are getting juicy." And then we have the Four of Swords for entertainment purposes only. I'm really seeing, as all of these mount up from here to here, that the messages, that like the total lack of energy, and that there could possibly be some illness with him, because he doesn't take care of himself, which is an understatement of the year. I think that his health things may catch up with him in a major, major way. And this is going into the summer. This is going into the summer. And it could be very detrimental. This guy looks so pale. He does not look like he's going to be just jumping up and ready to fight again. No, this guy's in really bad shape. The Four of Swords. Then we have, here we have Queen of Swords in reverse. So that's telling me that there's some female energy, but I'm not going to say in the restrained judicial thing with the Letitias and the Fawnies and all of this sort of thing. I'm going to say that this could be a Melania or Ivanka card with the years of resentments piled up against him, that there could be a real taking of no prisoners kind of slash and whatever, that I'm going to say that this is looking, usually she's in a lawyer or a judge, but I'm going to say, no, this is someone that's really going to lose it and probably go blabbing to any media thing that can. So this summer's going to be very interesting in reaction, because I think as more information comes out in this trial and others that may be down the pike, it's going to be too much for either definitely Melania and possibly other women members of his family. So then we have, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the karma thing, which is telling me that maybe a lot of people are going to see that maybe their good fortune will come and having him not occupy the White House again. And these three here, like, really connected. These three cards, very, very connected. That as time goes on, that there might be some people like those quiet suburban types, and the biggest thing they'll do is put a Trump sign out on their lawn a week before election, who might be saying, "What was I thinking?" So I'm going to say that he lost quite a bit of the suburbs in the 2020. I'm going to say karma, and this goes then, and now we're back to the whole abortion question. That, and hearing about what a real skis of a human being he is, that could be bringing more suburban women who were kind of holdouts. So the Wheel of Fortune will be turning, but I'm going to say that overall, and I think this is a good card to kind of end on, is that it will be turning in favor of the citizens of the United States. As more of this comes out, this is turning more favorably. Plus, I don't know if he's going to be able to go on. It's like, I really don't. I mean, so many of these cards, the Death card, and a whole bunch of others I've seen in my readings and in other people on the internet. So, before I end this, I also want to say, as tempted as I was to do a read on the jury, I have to say that Ellie, if you're familiar with Ellie Dreams Down Under, she does a video every day, but she did an excellent one this morning on the jury that I highly, highly recommend that you, now the energy can change, so people, we may do readings, but as it stands right now, her reading is just so good that I highly recommend that you check it out. It was published this morning, and I think it gives a very good look at what the energy of the jury is. So, at any rate, I'm going to sign off for now. So everybody keep sane, as sane as you can, because this is going to be a crazy, crazy ride of a year and an election cycle. So try to keep yourself centered. Don't watch the news all the time, but with this trial and others, it's going to be hard to resist. But you might want to just watch the evening wrap-up because it's not live like OJ's was. So, at any rate, thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next time. Bye.